So as some of you may or may not know, I was actually at CES while I was occurring a couple of weeks ago with BPS Customs acting as his production assistant. And I became privy to some of the interesting and actually kind of cool swag that they were handing out. So I just wanted to talk with you all about some of the nicer items that I got from some of the different vendors that we went to. Now, if there's any of these items that can actually be purchased outside of something like a big convention like this, I will have the links down in the video description below. And I want to actually start off with the Corsair stuff that we got for their press event where they announced the Capellix RGB LEDs, and Elgato made some announcements as well. Everything got handed out in one of these Corsair branded Ogio laptop satchels. It's actually a really well-made satchel. It has what appears to be a water-resistant sort of canvas fabric on the outside of it. It's got a lot of different compartments in there to store business cards, pens, pencils, accessories for your laptop, and it looks to be about big enough to hold at least a 17-inch class laptop in here, which is really nice for like a college student or something like that. And it also has a cup holder built into the side of it, or more like a bottle holder, I guess, just because of the slim form factor of it. You could probably slip something like one of the 16-ounce Hydro Flasks in there and carry it around with you absolutely no problem. Now, the other two items I don't actually have with me anymore because there's other people that I know that are making use of them. One of them being Corsair's MM300 small size anti-fray mouse mat. Now, this item I will have a link down in the video description for because this is one of their mass-produced mouse pads, and actually this was a really good quality item, and I wound up giving it to my fiance so she could use it at her job because the mouse mat that she had there was frankly kind of garbage. Another really cool item I got from Corsair but I wasn't really able to use was a Thunderbolt 3 expansion dock. This was actually a smaller version of a larger dock that they were discussing during the Corsair press event when Elgato had the stage, and it still has some pretty nice connectivity on it. Via a Thunderbolt 3 or USB 3.1 Gen 2 Type-C port, you can expand the connectivity of your mobile device to include two additional outputs, one being HDMI, one being display out, both of which are capable of up to 4K 60 simultaneous output. You also have USB 3.1 Gen 1 Type-A connectivity and a 1 gigabit Ethernet port. Now again, while I wasn't really able to make use of this, I passed this off to the IT director at my day job, who can use it not only for additional productivity, but also use it as a really quick and easy way to diagnose things on the fly. I'm definitely not the kind of person that digs single-use tools, so the fact that you can get multiple use cases out of that item is really nice. Another vendor that handed out some really cool swag this year was actually FSP. You guys probably know them as a PSU vendor and the producers of the first ever water-cooled power supply. Well, as it turns out, they also have several other more functional things in mind to give to people. One of them being this 6-port USB charging station. This just plugs into a simple AC plug out back, and it has 6 different ports on it, each of which is rated for different voltage and amperage outputs, with one of them also being Qualcomm Quick Charge 3.0 certified. So if you have a device that charges on that charging standard, then you'll be able to get rapid charging out of it with this hub. And because it's physically small, it's really easy to integrate into a desk space. The other neat thing they handed out was this coffee mug. Outwardly, it's pretty benign, double wall design, BPA-free lining on the inside, non-leak sealing top for carrying it around with you. But the nice thing about this is there's a suction cup built into the bottom of it that keeps you from being able to lift it off the table, and therefore makes it difficult for you to spill it. The only way you can actually lift this off of a flat surface is by grabbing it by the top section. I think that's a really nice touch, especially since I'm kind of clumsy with glassware being on my desk, and I have spilt things on keyboards in recent history, so I actually will wind up getting a lot of use out of that. Lastly, we move over to Zotac. Zotac had probably the coolest things, in my opinion, to hand out to the guests at their suite. I didn't really wind up using this cell phone ring holder thing. It looks really cool, but because of the case that I use for my phone, not really something that I can take proper advantage of. What was cool, however, were the other two things that I got from them, one of which was a 10-in-1 multi-tool card that, actually, this is even smaller than most gift cards that I get handed. It has 10 different tools on it, and there is an instruction card in here identifying what the tools are and where they are on this card. I definitely wouldn't advise trying to travel with this since this is stainless steel. It does have sharp edges, and TSA likely will give you a hard time over it. But as a small all-in-one tool like this, I really like this. I'm probably gonna wind up getting a lot of use out of it. But last and certainly not least is this awesome Zotac gaming branded backpack that we got from their suite. It's got a really clean and simple design on the outside of it. Even though there is the presence of a lot of the Zotac gaming branding, they did so in a way that it's pretty nondescript from the outside. So much like the Corsair satchel here, this is something you could even take with you in a professional business setting and not really draw a lot of attention or raise many eyebrows. Probably another really cool feature about this is that it's just one cavernous main chamber rather than having 2 or 3 partition chambers. That kind of makes it cumbersome to sift through and find what it is you're carrying with you. And as someone that has to carry a backpack with me all the time for my day job, that's really nice to have, because there's also a lot of really cleanly laid out interior compartments within the main chamber that can seal things away and help you organize things a lot better, especially considering that this was designed to carry what, again, appears to be up to a 17-inch class laptop with you. Now, on top of the voluminous amount of storage space in here, this does also have the neat feature of including a USB and 3.5mm headphone jack pass-through, so you don't have to run cables out of the zipper for the backpack. You can just plug your device into the side of the backpack and you're good to go, which makes for a lot less cabling mess too. The nicest thing for me, however, as someone that lives in the Pacific Northwest, is the fact that it's water resistant. I actually kind of found this out the hard way when I just started using it day one when I got back here and got back to work, but I also did a little bit of a splash test on video when I got home the other day, just so I could show you guys that this is in fact a water resistant exterior on this backpack. Yes, the fabric on the outside will start to soak through a little bit, but the padding on the inside of this seems to also have a water resistant lining on it. So the padding's not gonna soak through and get all smelly and nasty. And as I have verified, anything that's stored on the inside, even after prolonged standing in the rain, it just doesn't get wet in there. So this is probably the coolest and most functional item that I could have gotten as swag, and I definitely use it as a daily driver now, so thank you very much, Zotac. Now, there was a lot more swag that I brought home, but most of it wasn't really anything super interesting to talk about and stuff that you guys have already seen time and time again, so I'm just gonna end this video with a quick little display that I made with some of the swag that I got. Toss the video a thumbs up if you like it, get subscribed if you haven't done so already. Hopefully there'll be some content coming at you sooner rather than later, and as always, I will catch you guys next time. Take it easy.